to the Crazy Agent Dinner Party.
Nobody helps you. Just
Part group therapy, part inspiration, entirely for real estate agents to dish on this crazy business we're in.
Yeah, actually. My mom would be like, Amanda, I cannot.
Come on in, have a seat at our table. And remember, real estate is crazy, and you don't have to be. Welcome to the Crazy Agent Dinner Party, where we dish on this crazy industry known as real estate. Here are your hostesses with the mostesses, a combined 40 years plus in real estate, Coach Konversion Kourtney, and the real estate mom you never knew you needed, Amanda, the marketing mama. On today's menu, we're dishing up on mindset and resetting your brain.
Oh, Jenny, our trusty and beautiful sidekick, that is so important to reset that big, beautiful entrepreneurial brain of yours. Agents, here we are once again every week gathering together to really have a part group therapy, part inspiration, but this is entirely for realtors to honestly, let's get through some of our stuff, so we can sell more real estate and have more fun. And I think today's lesson, it's multifaceted, is really important because we had actually not one but two different submissions about being stuck where they're at, or feeling like they are plateaued, or just feeling like their mind is not right. And it's really hard, I think, as an entrepreneur to get yourself in that good mindset, even if you have the best of intentions, because of all the variables, right? All the tiny catastrophes, it can very well thwart all of your best intentions. And so for today, we are going to dive into mindset. We're going to start with the first one it was Megan, right? Megan has said that she has been an agent for a while and she's basically plateaued, and she doesn't really know, she doesn't feel motivated, or she's kind of having analysis paralysis to kind of getting past that plateau level. And so I thought this would be a really great opportunity to talk about what you do every Friday for agents all over the country. You help them get unstuck with your Flow Fridays. Wow. And so let's start with the little appetizer, the little bit of what you do in Flow Fridays. What's the series of Flow Fridays about?
I believe wherever we go, right? And so whatever energy we bring, we're bringing, whether it's to a listing appointment, to a buyer's appointment, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So whatever's happening in our daily lives, we're bringing that. Yeah. And so mindset is the key, is the beginning of where real estate starts, where our lives start. Mm-hmm. And so the Unstuck Flow Friday is about coming up with goals, one personal, one business, and one fun goal. Because I believe that all of those incorporate. Business, a lot of people do business goals, right? Mm-hmm. And they don't pay attention to personal goals or fun goals. Fun, let's have fun doing this. And what is a fun goal? Mm-hmm. And it's funny because that's the most challenging goal that people come up with.
Well, because they don't feel like they deserve it. I don't think they haven't earned it. Because a lot of times, we talk about this often, is that our wins are not financial all the time in real estate. They're tiny. There's tiny catastrophes and there's tiny wins, but the big wins, the financial wins, they get you through all of those tiny wins. But you have to acknowledge the tiny wins as wins. You have to acknowledge, hey, I got everything on my to-do list done today. I called every single one of my leads. I actually set up an appointment. Even if you didn't, again, land a contract, you have forward progression. You have grown as a human and grown as a professional. One of my favorite wins is if you have addressed something that's been on your list that you want to learn. I had a great little comment from an agent last year who had been wanting to learn the Showing Time app, which I love that app. And she said, thank you so much for recommending, this list of things that we should learn, because I've been wanting to learn this and I keep putting it off. And I honestly learned it. And now I don't have 50,000 papers in my car. I actually just use the Showing Time app, and I can share that with my buyers, and you can also share it with your sellers. And I just think that that's really good. That is a win. It didn't really again, there wasn't a huge financial gain from it, but she's more organized. She feels more put together. She's more detailed. And those are super, super important. So when somebody joins your weekly Flow Fridays, by the way, what time is it When do you do that?
At 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time.
Okay, so 11 o'clock Eastern. And it's like half an hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
Half an hour, 45 minutes.
All right.
One of the key things is showing up on time, right? Because we're respectful of everybody who's in the group. We're respectful of their time. Another big key is I want people who want to take on their lives, not just real estate. It's like life changing. And so it's hard. It's like there's some things that I'll call people out on and they won't make the group. So it's important for the entire group to keep the integrity of the group, to show up, take accountability, help hold the other people in the group accountable, and to be willing to learn. The very, very most important thing is to do what you say you're going to do.
Oh my gosh. I feel like that is a cardinal rule of life in general, but especially in real estate. Because guess what happens when you don't do what you say you're going to do? Not only do you maybe lose a client, but you lose a little bit of yourself. Like that's
a lot of yourself.
Integrity
myself, right?
is everything, right?
Integrity.
Because that's part of that one more thing that didn't go as planned. And then you start stacking it up and stacking it up and stacking it up. And so for somebody that's been in the business for a while, that feels like maybe they've reached a certain level. I mean, I would also recommend that they get a mentor, right? Like, I think that's super, super important.
Oh, absolutely. I believe in any area, right? Spiritual, fitness, business, like mental, like I believe all of those. When there's a big misconception about like balance. I need to find a balance. I need to find balance. And the balance is there is no balance.
There's no balance. You're just like, yes, we are riding this wave all the time. Because that's life, right?
Yeah, it's
and
life.
There's a lot of unknowns. And especially in our business, while we do like to take control so that we have control, there's so many things that are outside of our control that what we control is ourselves and the way that we react and the way that we rise up and respond and grow from every single lesson that we learn. And remember, they're all learned the hard way. Hopefully you don't have to learn the same lesson twice. That's the key for sure. But do you have any success stories that you want to share of people that have gone to and it's a free weekly group coaching that she does every Friday, that have kind of gone through your 30, 60, 90-day program that would be like maybe enticing for somebody that is on the fence about opening themselves up? Like, do you have anything that you can share?
Yeah, and it's important to open up, right, with the group. And so the group that I have now, like the success stories are way more than real estate. Real estate, I believe, comes natural. It comes secondhand. When they're taking care of themselves and they're doing what they say that they're going to do, then the real estate just comes. It comes, right? Like if I'm going to make a certain amount of calls and that's what I'm committing to myself and I end up doing it, the real estate, the closings, all of that's just going to come. And so I believe that it starts with us and doing what we say we're going to do. And so there's a couple like examples that I could use. So there's one agent who she was just being held back. She was holding herself back, and she couldn't figure out what was holding her back. And once we started like holding her accountable, she started opening up. Then she figured out what was holding her back, and it's acknowledgement first. So people have to know that what they're doing that's holding them back before they can take action on it. And so for her, she figured out what it was and then she took action on it. And she's been showing up for herself since then, and real estate's just coming naturally to her.
Well, that is wonderful. I think I say all the time that there should be no more lonely islands, because that's real estate kind of breeds that in the individual. Even if you're on a team, or even if you have like an awesome brokerage and you're there every day, because it's a competitive and it's ultra competitive, and there's so many random scenarios that just seem like mind blowing. You almost have to let you revert into yourself sometimes, instead of really like, let's just hash it out. Let's be vulnerable. Let's talk about like, wow, I really, I had a rough week, and here's all this insane things that happened to me this week. Because it can be daunting, because you're basically managing emotion while also managing a very huge asset for people. And so I do think that it's important to kind of like get out of your own head and like understand that what you're going, how you're feeling is 100% normal. If I could express to everyone how many agents on a very regular basis call me crying or mad or frustrated at just the business, it's super common because it's a frustrating business because it is a little crazy, right? And so understanding that we all feel that way sometimes, but you just cannot like unpack and live there, that's really, really vital.
I think the important part about being within a group is that it's easy for other people to see than it is for ourselves to see. And so for the accountability in the group, it's huge because sometimes like we'll talk ourselves out of it, right? Like we know what we want to do, we know what we need to do, and we don't do it. We talk ourselves out of it. Whereas having a group, it's easy for them to see. The language that we use is super critical into how we go about our days. And really, I want to talk about like just waking up and getting started. What does that look like for you?
Okay, so remember, I'm all about my Millionaire Maker checklist. Number one thing on that list is starting your day with intention. Now, that does not mean necessarily going to the gym, although I know that works for a lot of people. For me, it made me insane because number one, I'm middle-aged. And so like, if I went to the gym in the morning, I'm like sweating for 3 straight hours and I love makeup. When you sweat and you wear makeup, it is not a good mix. Okay. So it really, really stressed me out. So my intentional start to every day, and literally this is every day, is I have affirmations and I have positive motivation. So I will listen to, you know, like either somebody that has really great positive motivation, whatever, on YouTube while I'm doing my makeup, or I'll listen to Snoop Dogg has a great affirmation song. But that's part of starting my day with intention. I'm intentionally like putting on my real estate lady face and I'm going out there and I'm beginning my day with intention. So how about you? What's your intentional start to your day?
Yeah, intentional start to the day is critical, right? Because that's the beginning, and that's the first thing we talk about, keeping promises to ourselves. And so whatever it is the night before, if it's you want to work out in the morning and you don't, you broke your first promise. Like if it's something
you're already losing,
you're already losing. So stack the wins from the very beginning. And so for me, it's meditation. And I just got back into doing meditation.
How do you do that? Like I am so ADD, I could not. I can't. I have to. Do you do guided or do you just you sit there in the void and just like chill?
Yeah, so sometimes like it's like I want to go, and it forces me to relax and just to be calm and be at peace and just I keep reminding myself. See, I caught myself say just right. Like I keep reminding myself, stay calm, peace, breathe, focus on your breathing.
Okay. Yeah. I do feel a little bit better already.
Yeah, you feel like the energy has already changed.
Yeah. Jenny, what's your intentional start to your day?
I do 2 things. One, I do a 2.5 minute plank. I'm working back up to 4.
What?
It's taking me forever.
Awesome.
in a row?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
Great.
All right, Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's amazing. That's literally impossible.
Well, here's the thing. I also sometimes either have my phone, that's when I'm scrolling through, or I just finished a book, which I never have time to read. And so I made a new commitment that I was going to start reading. So I'll read, 2.5 minutes worth every morning.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, so do that.
In a plank position.
In a plank position, yes. It makes it go by fast. But then the other thing I do, which my dog absolutely adores, is his biggest treat of his entire day. It's not bacon. It is me taking my cup of coffee and walking towards the back door. And he gets so excited because he likes it when I sit and have a cup of coffee on the porch. And he's just outside.
He's your little boyfriend.
He loves it. He's like, I'm just here with
my girl.
That's where makes him happy. And I hear the birds and, sometimes I'm scrolling on my phone then too. But honestly, that listening to the birds and having that quiet moment just with myself and my dog is super.
Yeah, like before the world wakes up.
And so, like, a lot of people say, like, don't pick up your phone the first thing. And I believe whatever works for you works for you, right? Like, whatever the intention is for...
Yeah.
And that's what we talk about on Flow Fridays is, like, whatever my intention is, I'm not putting that on to anybody else. It's whatever works for them.
Right. One of my agents, he's like, I get up at 5 o'clock. And the whole house is silent. And he's like, and I only have one lamp on. And he's very specific. I love it. I love the detail. And he does a crossword under that one lamp with his coffee and nobody bothering him, quote unquote. And that is he just feels like he has already done something that brings him joy. And I'm like, dude, that check every day. You did it. That's amazing.
Yeah, but I feel that's 10 times better than the other agent that we have that does the ice bath.
Oh my gosh.
Does an ice plunge every morning.
It works.
Allegedly, it works,
it works
right?
For some people,
I've heard that it's like the fountain of youth, I guess.
No, thank you.
I am hard pass for me. I don't know. I'll try anything twice, I guess. So that's usually what I do. But how about, and this is something that is really, really important, especially because as an entrepreneur, you don't have anybody being like, listen here, put your big girl panties on and get in, like you got to clock in. What happens when either something in your personal life or something in a deal, what do you suggest doing? I'm going to share with you what I suggest doing. What do you do to kind of get out of that bad mood? Because guys, if you carry that bad mood with you all the place, like you're going to be breaking hearts and losing relationships, and ultimately might even lose business. Because if you bring that to your client, they're going to tell you to kick rocks. If you bring that to other professionals, they're not going to want to work with you. And that's your bread and butter. That's how you pay your bills. So what about those days where you're like fit to be tied and you just cannot move forward?
Well, I think it's natural for people to get stuck. And so for me, it's action. And so I can sit there and I can think about what I need to do next, and get stuck. And by taking action, for me, gets me unstuck.
Yeah. So you no longer have analysis paralysis. So I bring this up often because, again, chicken little syndrome is a real thing. I mean, it's not completely clinically diagnosed, but I can tell you from 21 years of experience, it is real. And a lot of my agents will be in this moment because they had a fight with their spouse or their mom or their whatever. And the entire day, they are replaying this over and over and over. And I'm like, have you done literally anything on your list? No, they're literally stuck in that moment forever. To which I remind them, so do you think like the dentist doesn't have fights with their spouse? Like the teacher never got in an argument with the guy who like didn't change their oil correctly? Do you think honestly that like your pastor has never gotten a flat tire? It's not like the universe is against you. That is just called life. And you cannot like unpack and live there. And so my little go-to technique, Nutella is optional, but I call it 15 in a jar. Okay, so have I told you about this before?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically it's, I mean, honestly.
You're taking action.
I am taking action because honestly what I'm doing is, I think sometimes it's just like if you fall and you skin your knee as a kid, if you're like, just rub some dirt in it, you'll be fine. But dude, if you're just feeling in your feelings for that moment, you will be in that moment like consistently for hours. So why don't we just actually feel the feelings? If you're pissed, if you're sad, if you're lonely, if you're grieving, if you're honestly just fit to be tied, whatever it is, I literally set the timer for 15 minutes. Sometimes I don't even eat it. Sometimes I just sit there with the spoon in the jar and I just sort of, sometimes I cry. Sometimes I eat the whole thing. You never know. I got 15 minutes. The sky's the limit. But guess what happens? When that timer goes off, the lid goes back on and I get to business. And that's really, really important. Now, I have another person that I've worked with before who doesn't do Nutella because it's not healthy or whatever, but he uses like a high frequency pitch for 60 seconds. And that kind of like shakes him back to reality, allegedly. I felt like when I did it, I was flatlining, so it didn't work for me. But I do think there's something to be said for acknowledging that everybody has flat tires. Everybody has a fight with their whoever it is. Do it, feel it, and then move on from it. And don't let it sabotage your whole entire day because these are the days that you get to work.
You can say like sabotage your day, your week, your year.
Your life.
And so it is important. I tell my girls all the time, I'm like, feel with what you're doing, like feel what you're feeling, just don't stay there too long.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm a big fan of crying. Yeah, am I going to cry? Absolutely. But then I'm going to boss up and I'm going to get to getting. So I am a big crier. But I cry for everything. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm hungry. Did I mention I'm still hungry? Like, yeah, absolutely. So again, our last bite, I want it to come from you. I want this to be your to implore you to bring people who might feel like they need some flow, that they need to be unstuck. They need the fiber in their lives that you actually really do bring. You have a very calming way about you. It's probably because you can meditate like a normal human being. I need a little bit more chill. I have zero chill. So what's our little last bite to take with us?
My goal with getting unstuck and Flow Fridays is for people to trust their intuition and follow through and take action on whatever their intuition is. And by doing that, we have a group of people who will help hold you accountable to reach whatever it is that you want to reach. Reach your business goal, reach your fun goal, reach your personal goal, and they're doing it, right? It comes naturally. Once they take on their lives, it's going to come naturally.
Right. No more lonely islands.
No more lonely
Just get to getting. So then, Jenny, what's our to-go box this week
I am
what?
super excited about this to-go box because it's different than a worksheet or a piece of paper. Our virtual to-go box is the link to participate with Kourtney and do her Flow Fridays and be part of this amazing service that she's offering.
Right. A network of, agents helping agents
For free
to get unstuck and sell more real estate.
I believe as we lift each other up, everybody succeeds.
I mean,
right?
what do they say? Rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah. And if you guys want to be a part of any of our group, like you have any questions, send us a video. We've been through it 20 years, 24 years,
Like a million years. Yeah.
million
A
years.
long time. And the fact of the matter is like we're coachable. I love to learn. That's the best part about this business. And so I think we all get stuck, but don't stay there. Like, come on, let's go do some stuff. Let's go sell some real estate and have some fun. And remember, y'all, real estate is crazy.
And you don't have to be.